Hey everybody, I am Zach Beach, CEO of Smart Real Estate Coach. Hopefully you're having an awesome Sunday. Welcome to another Deal Structure Sunday. If this is the first time you've been watching one of our Deal Structure Sundays, we produce a deal that happened either in our family business or with our associates or members of our community every single week. That way you can see exactly how these deals are done, how we work through all the different dynamics of the deal, and then how they're eventually exited. So I encourage you right now, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button. And we're also going to include a bunch of notes here at the end as well, just in case there's any tools or items that pop up during this time frame to ensure that you can go out there and start creating some creative financing deals. Because on this channel, we talk specifically about creative financing. That is lease options, sub-twos, owner finance, and we also have a couple other techniques. Today, we're going to talk about a sub-two owner financing deal, and we're going to dive deep into that here in just a second. But if you are unclear about any of those terms that we just used, I do encourage you to go ahead and grab our first Amazon best-selling book. We'll go ahead and throw in the notes as well at wickedsmartbooks.com/YouTube. Go grab it. It's absolutely free. It's going to do a nice overview of all of these types of deals. All right, well, let's jump into it. I have a special guest with us here today. Each and every one of the guests that come on here are actively either in the middle of a transaction, which we love to bring them on because we're like, all right, let's walk through the thought process, how we got the deal, how we're exiting the deal, what's our potential projected 3 paydays, cash now, cash monthly, and back-end profits, or deals that have been completed so we can see how it got all the way to the finish line. Now, one of these deals, we're right in the middle of it. And I have Brian Sweet out of Boise, Idaho. Brian, welcome to the YouTube channel, my man.
Well, thank you, Zach. It's great to be here.
Well, I'm excited to do this deal with you. Brian has a super unique story. I mean, I think I started talking with Brian maybe 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. And Brian was one of those people that went ahead and jumped into our Quantum Leap system, our course, and started actively trying to put this business together on top of your current business. And I'll let you explain how you've been able to do that. But then eventually joined our community and now has a second deal in like under 60 days, which has been absolutely amazing to see. But I don't want to tell my story, your story. If you could, maybe tell people who you are, what you do outside of the Wicked Smart community, and then maybe how you found us.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I've been in real estate for a while now, but I have a background as a firefighter, paramedic. That was my full-time job for a long time. Loved it, passion for that, but kind of always enjoyed real estate as well, and knew that it had better opportunities to provide for my family financially without me just working extra 24, 40-hour shifts and kind of killing myself and my wife working extra hard to take care of the kids. So yeah, I do have background in real estate, got into flipping, kind of rehab homes 13 years ago, built my first spec home back in 2005, but it was always a part-time thing. So about 5 years ago, I got my realtor's license and went full-time into real estate, stepped away from, the paramedic firefighter world, to spend more time with my wife and kids. And yeah, a couple of years ago, kind of saw your program, but didn't really start it until, the last few months, as I'm transitioning out of even the stress of being a realtor. I love helping people and I love that, but it is this grind to find a next person to help or, the next property. And your system allows for, much better paydays is what you call them, and also future paychecks right off the work I'm doing now, which kind of provides that security
Sure.
and continue stuff. So yeah, that's kind of my quick story.
Yeah, absolutely. And no, it's been awesome to see you grow. We had him on stage at one of our last events going through his first deal, which was awesome. So there's many realtors or people actively being real estate agents right now. I'm still not sure quite about the difference, but I know that there is a difference between a real estate agent and a realtor. But let's speak to both of them and brokers right now. And what caused you to want to, you mentioned a couple of things, but what caused you to want to actually like commit now to creative financing or this type of real estate investment strategy compared to maybe 12 months ago, where I mean, you were actively doing real estate as deals as agent. So what made you want to commit to it now versus prior?
Yeah, so I guess a couple things. First off, throughout my real estate journey as a realtor, I found that I really enjoy, I mean, I love helping people, but I really love helping people understand investments in real estate, right? So kind of changing their family's financial future as well. And I keep leaning towards that more and more and more. And by doing that, I mean, I have rental properties and stuff, but kind of started focusing more on, well, what do I want really for my family, right? What do we want? What do I want for my future, my family's future, and how do I want to build that? And so that's kind of why I've transitioned more to this, because this is a system that provides, like I said, that longer term wealth. Those extra paychecks instead of just like a commission check and then you're moved on. And I feel like I get to help more people as well, sellers and buyers this way on one property.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. So, I mean, you're no newbie is my point. I mean, so there's plenty of people out there that we work with that are in our community. We refer them as associates that we buy and sell real estate with, and they're brand new. And that's absolutely, that's amazing as well. I mean, I was a bartender and personal trainer. Brian's got way more experience than I had when I first started. But there are so many people right now, especially because of the current market. I was literally just sitting on a phone call with somebody, and they told me, this is an expert in the field, and they told me that it's almost 90% of current mortgages out there are under 4%. Imagine that. 90% of mortgages are under 4%. These are the types of deals that people like Brian are tapping into right now, because people still are going to be dealing with death, divorce, relocations, and with the drying up of the buyer pool right now, because rising interest rates, there's not as many buyers out there, people still need to sell. And that's exactly why these creative financing deals are becoming more and more, not only lucrative, but more simple to find. Yes. Which has been just amazing for everyone in the community. I've just been seeing deals come left and right. So let's start diving into this real estate deal, Brian. So
yes,
I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up because I want you guys to see some of these real estate deals. Because if this is the first time you've been on on our channel, or if you've been here a million times, the types of deals that we're typically looking for are nice move-in ready homes. We're not dealing with fix and flip properties. And when Brian showed me this deal, I was like, this is basically a new construction home. Beautiful property. And it just started made me thinking like, all right, what's the motivation? Why did this person want to sell? So Brian, if you could walk us through maybe how you found the seller, which was unique as well, how you found the seller, and then their motivation, and let's start walking through this process.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. So I found this seller, they called off one of my radio ads. So for the investment company, I do have a radio ad, like sell your house cash, because we do have we're still flipping homes and doing rehabs, even though I do want to get out of that more and more, especially as this is showing me how much easier this is and better of a process. But yeah, so they called off one of those. Kind of was hoping to sell quickly. They could have sold with their realtor. That was another option for them. And so I was actually able to meet with them and give them all their options. Since I'm a realtor, I can pull, comps and sheets, and it was 100% honest and upfront with them. Hey, this is, what I can offer you cash price on your home as a flipper rehabber. This is what a realtor would get for your home, right? This is what it would sell for on the market, and this is what you would net. And kind of, if we can get creative here, this is what I can do for you creatively as well on this property. So,
well, Brian, this is perfect. So I want each and every person that's either a realtor or fix and flip or wholesaler right now. This is when we go through this deal. When you start to see this, and fast forward, it's gonna be a 6-figure deal. Okay. So when we look at this deal, Brian's approach is the exact thing that we've been screaming for the past 10 years for each and every person that's in a different real estate niche, understanding these types of techniques, and then having a multifaceted offer system where it's like, hey, I'm a realtor, this is what I can do. Or, hey, I can buy this property. Now, this one doesn't require fix and flipping, but I can buy this property cash. Here's what that may look like. Or here's another option, and I could buy it with utilizing a creative financing strategy. So that way, literally, there's no deal that comes across your desk right now that you don't have an answer for, which is absolutely amazing. That's empowering.
Yeah, it's awesome. Just because they can make the decision that's best for them, right? Whether they go with me or not, but I can make sure I present their options and then they can decide. So,
and you're in one of like the I'm gonna say the hottest market, but you're in a very explosive market right now, being in Idaho, right?
Yes.
So I mean, you're right outside of Boise, where it's like
Correct.
everybody and their mom from California is moving to.
Correct.
So how? So then most people would then wonder, right? Because everybody always says I can't do this in my market, and I believe you asked me that originally when we were on the phone at one point. So maybe tell us about how actually finding these deals has been for you in a market that most would think, is very hot, that you can't get these deals done in.
Yeah, no, I think like we talked about, things have shifted. I mean, our market is still amazingly well and good, and homes are selling quickly. I mean, we still have, multiple offers within hours when homes hit the market here, if your home's priced correctly. And in certain areas, but I think there's more deals than ever because people are starting to feel some of the financial strain of just what's happened over the last couple of years, right? So, and people are starting to open their eyes to just say, all right, what's best for me and my family? And like this deal, I mean, I don't know how much you want me to get into it now, right? But they could have sold either with me as a realtor or another realtor, and filled the home fairly quickly. But there's still other headaches or things that go along with that that I was able to take out of that and get them more money. So
so walk us through that then, Brian, right? So all right, we're looking at this house. It looks like brand new construction. You said it was how old?
2 years old.
2 years old. 2 years old. Brand new carpets. You got granite countertops, black cabinets. This is a great house, right?
Yes.
I mean, this is
beautiful home.
You don't have to do a single thing to it. So I'm sitting there, I'm a seller. So why did the seller then decide to go with a creative offer versus you listing it?
Yeah, so a couple things. So first off, the hassle of getting their home ready to sell, even though it's brand new, they're still, even in a newer home, right? There's still stuff they're gonna have to do to pack up and get it staged and ready. So kind of some of that little stuff that they didn't want to have to deal with in these moments. And then the second thing was with this creative option, even though, I mean, I'm going to be making great money on this, way more than a realtor. They're also making more money in the end. They're going to net significantly more, about $20,000 more, at least with my offer than if they were sold traditionally.
Got it. And does that come from because you don't have to pay a commission, or are you able to get them a higher price than they were even going to go on the traditional market?
Yeah, so a couple things. I was able to give them a little bit higher price, and because they don't have to pay that commission, right? So, and then some of the other things that go along with that, the closing costs and stuff, we're able to save them. And again, a good realtor is worth their money. However, in this situation, they don't have to pay any realtor fees, not to me or anyone else. And so that saves a significant amount of money when you're talking, almost $500,000 home.
Yeah, so let's jump into the deal now. Let's stop letting everyone wait on us. All right, so Brian, so this deal is from a radio ad. This is a sub-2 owner financing. So walk me through it. Like what? So we bought it for $414,681. Super specific number, right? So out of that, how much of that is debt versus equity? Yeah,
so the debt is basically 235.
Okay.
234,680, something like that, but 235 if we're just using round numbers.
Okay, so 235. So they got like 170, 180K in equity in the property.
Correct.
Okay. Was this? I'm just curious. Like, why did they? And maybe you cover this. Why did they have to move? I mean, the property's 2 years old. Why were they getting out of this house?
Well, they didn't have to move, right? Okay. But they wanted to move. They are downsizing a little bit, and they are trying to decrease some of their monthly expenses. So they wanted to move. They kind of thought this would be a good time. to sell their home, to kind of pull maybe a little bit of money out of it, and to move on to the next season of their life. You know, they had some family changes as well, and they want to spend more time with their family. And they had some medical bills also that they're paying off. But yeah, so they just this would be a good time to kind of do all of that.
Yeah, so a little bit of debt relief on this property, even though they had a lot of equity. I just want people to hear this. Some debt relief. They had some life changes. And Brian was there at the right place at the right time in order to help them solve this challenge. So Brian, you go ahead. We're putting together a purchase and sale agreement. We're buying the property subject to the existing loan, which is $230,000-ish. And then the sellers now are going to hold a second position on the property. Are you making any payments on the equity, or is that just going to be received at a lump sum?
Yeah, so that's just going to be the majority of the equity is going to be received at a lump sum. Now, in this situation, I am going to be giving them some cash at closing, so they can move on with their life, right? So that they can pay off some bills and do some stuff. And most times, right, as you guys teach, we don't do that, but in this situation, I'm able to do that, and the deal still works great for me. So,
got it. And how much money are you giving them out of pocket? Because I'm assuming this is contingent too. Is this contingent upon finding a third party buyer and you close, or are you committed to the deal?
This one is not contingent. I am committed, because no matter what, this again, I've been in the
deal
for a while. It's a great deal for me, no matter what. Even if I just kept it and did a refinance later and kept it as a rental, this is still a good deal, right? Like, there's so many exit strategies. So I committed, and I'm not concerned about that end buyer, even though in this I don't think we'll have any problem, but even if we don't, I'm good.
Got it. And how much you committing to give them as down payment?
So I'm giving 50 as a down payment.
Okay. So 50,000.
Correct.
Okay. Very good. All right. So we got this property. We bought it for 414. We're selling it for 481. Somebody's going to ask, like, how are you able to sell it at such a big gap? So did you guys come up with the 481 as far as comps and comparables in the market, or you tell us how you arrived at that purchase price, or sell price, I should say?
Yeah, so the sale price is just a little higher than market price, but not a ton. And with the rent to own program, you're typically able to get a little bit of a premium over market on these homes, because we're significantly adding value to the end buyers, right? By what we're being able to do to help them get into a home that they normally wouldn't be able to. But they're going to get that equity back, right, in less than a year with market just in itself, typically. So, but yes, so that is just a small premium on the market.
Got it. Okay. So we're currently on the market right now. I don't feel as though this thing is going to take very long to sell. We've purchased properties that are new construction or relatively new construction, and my guess is this is going to have to generate a little bit higher than what we projected as far as a down payment. We're typically seeing at least 10% on these new construction houses because people want them, right? We had a student of ours that bought one that was in New Hampshire, and it required, when I say required, I mean, there was enough inquiries. It was like 500 some inquiries in the first week that the only buyer we're going to accept is if they had at least 10, if not 20% down. So I would expect at least a 10% deposit upfront. So that's going to be right around anywhere from 24, which is 5%. So you're being conservative, to $48,000 down. Plus, we're going to be collecting first month's rent. Because when do you have to close on this property? Like, what's your commitment date with the sellers?
The end of this month now. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, correct.
All right. So assuming, and did you create anything in the agreement that says you don't have to make payments for a certain period of time, or are we committing to make our first payment at, say, the first of next month?
No. Yeah. So I'll have a month leeway before that, for that first payment is due.
Got it. All right. So as long as Brian can sell this thing within the next 60 days, he's going to also collect first month's rent on top of it as well. And that's where we came up with a $22,000. So looking at our payday one, so Brian buys this property at sub 2 with an owner financing component to it. Now he's going to go sell it via rent to own to a buyer that needs time in order to qualify for a loan. Now, once we have brought that buyer through the vetting process, we're then going to collect a non-refundable deposit. That's our payday one. That's our cash now. Super risk-averse way of selling properties because you're going to pull out some equity today. So we're projecting that Brian's going to then collect anywhere from $24,000 to $48,000 down. That's why you see the deposit plus other deposits. so you got a mortgage on it's roughly 230-ish. I think that's what you said. What's the interest rate on that property?
I think this one is just over 4, if I remember.
Just
right.
over 4. Yeah. All right. So amazing interest rate on the property, right? So that monthly payment to the seller is roughly $1,600 is the PITI.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And then we're expecting to at least get $2,200 a month. I think, and I saw on the page online, it's like just under $2,300. So at least a $600 spread.
Yes.
So then what we do is we take the $600, assuming this property goes the full 48-month term, because the way Brian has constructed this is the seller's equity is due in 48 months. So we're just going to go based on a 48-month term, which gives us about $28,800 in cash flow during that time frame, which is the payday 2. Brian marked up this property about $66,000. He's getting $477 in principal pay down. So I'm guessing when you looked at the mortgage statement, $477 of that is towards principal today.
Right.
We all know, right, Brian, that's going to increase over time. So we're just making a judgment call here, because as that property amortizes, then that monthly payment or the principal payment is going to increase. So you're at least going to get $22,000 in equity.
Yeah,
because that's yours.
Mm-hmm.
We already collected $48,000, so we have to pull that off the table, which means that when this property cashes out in the 48 months, it's going to be about $41,000 in total profit on payday 3. So if you add that all up, Brian, you can tell us the number.
Yeah, it's $120,262.
Yeah, at least, right?
Yes.
Because there's lots and lots of potential throughout this time frame to reconstruct this deal, or potentially get more deposit as well, especially if you're saying this is a slight premium on the property.
Correct.
Brian, how long have you been on the market for?
Just a couple days.
A couple of days. I'm just curious. Have you had any inquiries on this property yet?
I have a couple people that I've gotten back to. Just received a few more calls and inquiries before our call here, our Zoom.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So you're working the phones right now. I love it.
Yeah.
So Brian, I like to ask everybody that comes on the Deal Structure Sundays, knowing what you know now, like looking back at say this deal or before you had the deal, any learning lessons or thoughts that we can give the listeners here?
Yeah, I would say the learning lessons and thoughts on this are like, just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to go out there, because you're actually helping people, right? Like, this is like, make the phone calls, like pick up the phone. Not everyone's going to want your help, but for the people that do, you're significantly helping them. I mean, on this deal and my other deal that I have, that's all closed out and tenant buyers are in and everything. I was able to help both those sellers significantly more than I would have as a cash buyer or their realtor. They netted more. They're happy on both these deals. So yeah, just be confident and know that you're helping people is what I would say.
I love it. I love it, Brian. Because I mean, full transparency, you did an awesome job, right? You're doing amazing. You might have been doing amazing 6 months ago if you followed some of your own advice.
I wish I would have started earlier. That would be my other advice.
Yeah. But you did absolutely amazing. For those of you that are interested in doing exactly what Brian is doing, and I mean like working with us directly and helping do these types of creative financing deals, I'll throw a link in the notes here. Just go to smartrealestatecoach.com/action. Go ahead and book a strategy call. We can spend some time with our team and we can point in the right direction, help you take your next steps as far as learning how to be able to do these types of transactions and be like Brian and have a deal that's projected over 120K. I forget what your first one was, but I think it was like another $50,000 deal as well. So you're feeling pretty good here going into the 2024.
Can I add one other thing?
Please.
I would like to say that the QLS program that you guys offer, which is crazy cheaper than anything else out there. You can do your first deal with just that. Like right, that alone gives you everything you need. And once I joined the community, right, the support and coaching and level of help you get is just exponentially better to help you take this to become a real business and a real future for you. So you can start just with whatever you want, but the community itself, there's nothing like it. And they really do give and help and are just selfless.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Brian. What we do it for is to see people be successful just like yourself. Getting your first 2 deals in 60 days has been absolutely amazing to watch this thing happen, watch you continue to grow. Looking forward to seeing you again here, hopefully here in the near future at our upcoming event. Brian, awesome job. Everybody that was listening to this YouTube, please make sure you go ahead and subscribe. We'll be bringing you another deal here within the week. Have an awesome day, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.